Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking. All right, we are live stream. We're here. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How is everyone doing today? Here. Hi, everybody. I have to close this page. We got the echo again. There we go. All right, now it's just us. We're good. Welcome. We expect that Jacine will be here shortly, but for now you have me and Jen. And just wondering, how's your day going? We're really grateful for everybody who's here and hoping that you're having a beautiful, beautiful Monday. This week, we're talking about inner critics. How did it go with the drama llama last week, Jen? How was I love my trauma drama llama picture in the kitchen because it reminds me every time my trauma drama llama gets going to just chill. Mm-hmm. How did it go for you?
I was able to be more aware of other dramas and going on that I was like, I never really connected that to this triangle of drama and trauma and feeding into it, whether it was mine or not. So it was very educational for me.
Yeah, it was really cool to pay attention and just to be able to see. I didn't realize I had so much drama in my life, especially so much drama in my head. Yeah. Right? So this week we're talking about inner critics, and that also a voice in your head, right? Mm-hmm. This is the season of connection. We're coming into fall, Halloween, Thanksgiving, all the Christmas holidays, all the times that we're going to be with our family, the company parties, the community events, all of those things where we put ourselves out there and we want to have a good time, but we don't necessarily have a good time because there's this voice going on in our head, this inner critic. And so for the next several weeks, we're going to be covering how to work with your inner critic so that you can make the confident connections that you want. You had a really good point about, I have it as a retrain your inner critic, and you had a really good idea for changing that just a little bit. Can you talk with us about that?
Yes, because I have done a lot of work with my inner critic. And I found the key to understanding her and working with her was actually befriending her. She's there for a reason. And she has something to say. And if you try and make her go away or destroy her, whatever, she just digs her heels in and she'll get mad at you. She's there to help you. And she's just doing the best she can. And you just kind of have to help her understand that maybe it would be better to do it in a different way.
I love that. Yeah. So extending her that extra love and care and teaching her.
Mentor her. Yeah.
I love that. Okay. So what's your inner critic sound like?
Oh my gosh.
Come on, fess it up. What's she sound like?
She sounds okay. So she has changed. So it's like, it has changed from just blatant, you're horrible, you're never going to amount to anything, you're not good enough. It's changed.
Who do you think you are to do such a thing as that? Who do you think
you are, But it's interesting because sometimes my inner critic voice and the things she's saying is things that have been told to her that she has believed. Mm-hmm. So did a lot of work with well, is that your voice? Is that a voice of somebody from your past that you have now made your voice? So that has shifted she's a little bit more, well, maybe we shouldn't do that, or
she's a little calmer now, a little softer voice.
Softer. Yeah. Or she works a lot with my fear of you don't want to be seen as somebody, or So it's like she's matured to a degree.
Yeah. Well, she's coming along. I mean, you're working with her, you're befriending her, and you're taking care of her, right?
Yeah.
And so that makes sense. My inner critic tends to growl a lot.
Really?
The low, contemptuous, grumpy growl, like, what are you bothering me for, kind of growling. And so she can sound kind of scary sometimes.
Mine will throw tantrums at times. So sometimes mine will come straight at me in a full tantrum. I'll be like, okay, what's going on?
All right. But then you come into that part of you that's your centered self, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So tell me about your centered self.
My centered self is all the things I want to be all the time, all the good things.
Yes. Yeah. She wants to be the 50% good 24/7.
24/7. And so she is very patient when she has engaged with this, inner critic. I can really focus. I mean, because I'm not a very patient person in real life, but when I'm stepping into that space, she can really be that for that moment.
Yeah.
Compassionate, curious.
My center self is really confident.
Yes.
She's like so present and so confident and just
no doubts,
almost all knowing, no doubts. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful to be in that space.
I also think she's long suffering.
Yes, they're infinitely patient and long suffering. I totally agree. Yeah. For me, the way that I learned to recognize my centered self is she is what I feel like just as I'm coming out of sleep in the morning, a lot of mornings. I'm at peace. I'm really calm. I'm quiet, usually confident, really clear. Things seem very clear. Yes. There's no chaos in my mind.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I started to notice in the mornings when I would first wake up, if I listened then, it would give me a good touch point for where to go during the day when I'm trying to check in again. Mm-hmm. How do you find your centered self?
Gosh, this is going to sound strange, but I usually find her in conflict.
Okay.
That's usually when I know that my inner critic is activated. And I all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there's something I just don't feel like there's something going on inside. And that's when I can be like, I've learned instead of just going after those thoughts saying, you're horrible, you're bad, don't say those things to yourself. Like I all of a sudden just step back and I invite that part of me.
I love that idea. Just step back.
Because I know how I want to be, but I'm like, I know I've got this like inside powerhouse I need to connect to for this that's going on. Mm-hmm. It doesn't always happen. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I just am like, that's it. I'm done. I just like, but yeah, usually it's when I feel like there's a conflict going on, an internal conflict going on within me that I can find her.
That's really cool. A lot of times when I feel that way, I can remind myself to take a couple of good breaths, and that will help me. Another one that I just love, that it seems so weird, and most often when I do it, I still chide myself just a little bit, is I'll be all out of whack about something, lots of chaos in my head, lots of judgment running around, and I'll just take a breath, and then it'll occur to me, how about we just do a forward fold?
Oh yeah.
And I'll stand there in yoga and just do a forward fold, but I'll spread. So it's a spread eagle. I'm wide angle forward fold. But then I can just imagine all of the chaos while my head's down there, just draining out of my head. And then she's there. It's like I parted all of the dust and dirt, and it's calm. And I found my centered self. Yeah.
That's really cool. I think
it really works well for me.
I guess I kind of do it without thinking, similar to that when I remove myself from like I have to go have a different experience. Like I'll go outside into nature, or I'll just go into a different part of the room because I just, I'm going to try forward folding.
It feels so good. Just the hold, bring your head down lower than your knees, just really, just calms me right down.
Drain all
That's
the
probably
great,
why.
drain all the grossness out of your head. I like that.
Yeah, I do. Literally, I just let it all drain out of the top of my head. It works. It works.
You have to do
So that works really well for centered self when I'm here. But what if we're at a school meeting, or what if we're in conversation with friends, or what if we're at one of those parties we're talking about?
Mhm.
Ideas for bring ourselves back into centered self for that. Okay, while you're thinking, let me make a couple of ideas. Part of what I do is I try to practice touch points through my day. So in my work, I try to keep 15 minutes in between clients. And so when I have that few minutes in between clients, I get up, I move, I do my shoulders, and I stretch up a little bit. And then quite often, if I've got a lot going on, I'll do that forward fold. But that's a touch point for me. So another way that it works, and it has worked in the past, is to have a touch point of whenever I go to the kitchen sink, I take a breath. Or when I'm out driving, whenever I stop at a stoplight, I take a breath. And what that has done is it's trained me it's like just a reaction now. If this, then this. If I feel cacophony in my head, then I take a deep breath. And so by practicing during the day with the touch points, it's made me more aware of when I get that tension and that resistance and that chaotic kind of feeling, that resistance feeling, to take a breath. And when I take a breath, that slows my brain enough that I can begin to touch into my centered self. What about you?
No, I'm just thinking about, like, maybe, because like I said, I usually find her when there are moments of tension or conflict. How
are you aware of her though? Because I know in your earlier years, you didn't have the same awareness.
Because I didn't even know that part of me existed. I thought I was just a whim of my reactionary self, just
yes.
like,
yeah.
It was first learning that we do have that higher part of us there, spiritual self, really, that is there and can actually aid us and help us to have all the amazing gifts that we have if we but tap into it, be aware of it.
We always have the choice of how we will respond. We're not a victim to the circumstance.
No.
We always can choose. Yeah.
And so there are times, like in that conflict, where if I'm feeling like anxiety or anger or resentment or things like that, I take a deep breath. I guess it's just natural. I just take a deep breath, because if I can wait out that emotion a little bit, I have a little bit more control over it, because we know.
And that allows you to step back again, like you're talking about before, right?
So I'm just kind of trying to think,
Well, one of the other things that just came to mind is if we're in a society, a party of sorts, or a community meeting of sorts, can't we, and I've done this, maybe you have, literally do this and just kind of bring ourselves back into ourselves while we're in that conversation, where you're making kind of that energetic step back.
Yeah. Well, because usually, like, if I'm in that public situation, or let's say if it's a family situation, it's usually because there is something that's been activated in me. That's usually something that is within me that I feel vulnerable about.
Yeah.
And I have had her, I've had it happen where I've just asked her to can you just be by my side? And sometimes she'll show up how she needs to be, how I feel like she should be. And it's really funny because she shows up as Wonder Woman a lot for me.
Oh, I love it.
Girl, she's all like, I'm here, because I feel like I get vulnerable, need a little bit of protection, but she's also very caring and compassionate, and she's going to be there. I'm going to have to.
It's something to think about. And as we go into the next several weeks where we're learning about all the different kinds of inner critics, it'll be good to just kind of keep going with, how do we distance ourselves? How do we come back into our into our centered self? How do we mentor and befriend the parts of us that really are in need? There are no bad parts, right? They're just parts of us from our life when we had less experience, and they're just trying to keep us safe and have whatever bad thing they perceive happened not happen again. Yeah. And so when we mentor and help, that'll do it. All right. Well, it'll be the next several weeks. I'm thinking, I know we'll go through October. It just kind of depends on how long we need to talk about creating these connections. But we're going to do them every Monday, 3:00 Central. Not like today where we're a little bit early, but 3:00 Central every week. And we may even take it all the way through Thanksgiving. Who knows? But our goal is to create connections and to feel confident in making those connections so that we are nourished. It's not just our belly that feels full for Thanksgiving dinner. It's our heart and it's our whole selves that feels nourished and nurtured. Mm-hmm. All right. So remember, no bad parts.
No bad parts.
Just a vigilant protector that wants to take care of yourself. And this week, what should we practice? Practice something.
I would say if this is new to you,
Mm-hmm.
2 things. Practice like connecting to that centered self. And even if you want to take and list down all these amazing attributes that you would feel like that part of you would have, list those down and then just sit there and try and imagine or envision that part of you. And then
that could be something fun to share on the Facebook page even. What are those parts? What's that feel like? The confidence, the calm, all of those words. What's that feel like?
And I would say is just starting to become aware that inner critic voice is not your voice. It's not you.
That's not you.
Try and differentiate if you've never if you've never done that. And then
I love that idea. So 2 things. We'll practice coming into our centered self, maybe with a touch point, maybe not, maybe just paying attention to how you feel when you very first wake up in the morning before the actual busyness of the day sets in. And then also understanding that inner critic is not you. So we have that clear line between the inner critic and the centered self. Yeah. Let's do that this week. Mm-hmm. And then next week, we'll start with our very first inner critic, which I know you know well. It's the second guesser.
Oh gosh.
So don't even, got to save it for next week. All right. I'm out of here. Thanks y'all for being here. If you liked this, please, please, please share it. We're trying to get the word out. Share the post. Just link to the post however you can do it and just share it around because we would love to be able to help everybody have a more connected Thanksgiving, a more confident Christmas, just to feel good so that we are all nourished and nurtured this fall. Thanks. Thanks, Jen.
Bye.
Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on Linktree/CMHcoaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with